Hi everyone, welcome back. I thought I'd touch in, drop in, give you some fake face-to-face time with Talk Nerdy to Me. So let's just get right into it. Everybody's lonely, everybody's just sitting there looking for stuff to do. No, they're not. A lot of people are working. A lot of people have been in the trenches the whole time, essential workers, not wearing masks, doing their own thing because it's the real world, guys. It's the real world still. The media is not telling you that. The media is not telling you, hey, your body has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of viruses in it all the time. Is anybody telling you that? No. They're not telling you. You have more bacterial cells in your body than you do your own cells. The same thing for DNA. There is more virus DNA on you and in you than your own DNA. Now, be mindful too that 45% of our DNA is viral. Are you hearing this? Is anyone saying these things? I don't think they are. I don't have TV. I have a TV. It plays Netflix. It plays what I choose. What I choose to be on that screen is on that screen. 100% of the time, what I choose. There's no commercials. There's no ads. I pay for ad blockers. I have a monitor in my house. This is the only TV in my home. This is the only computer in my home. You know, I really wanted to make this video today. I watched a lady try to return some shoes on Facebook Live, and her name was Karen, and she was mainly ignored, but told to leave the store, not allowed to even return the items that she had bought there the day before because she wasn't wearing a mask. And even though, like in my town, in her town, the mandate said that people who had health reasons that they couldn't wear a mask, they're not able to wear a mask because it damages their own health and well-being, are exempt from these mandates. It's in the mandates and the statutes, both in my town and this young woman's town. And I'll link the video right up here as well. But she was standing up for her right to have a face that's exposed. Oh, you never think this could ever happen. This is America. What happened to America? Well, I'll tell you what happened to America. America died on the 4th of July, 2020. You didn't think this was possible. If you're an American, you don't know this still. You don't know that America is dead. Maybe you do. That's why you're watching this. But here in America, we pride ourselves, and the world knows it, that we have freedom from our government. We do not just kowtow and bow down to our government here in America, because we know, just like everybody else in the world knows, that everybody in power is corrupt. Okay? If they let you into this huge power game, they're going to corrupt you if you get in there. Okay? I'll get off on a tangent a little bit here, because I think this is what triggers people about Trump. But I did come here to talk nerdy. I did come here to give you some FaceTime. But I also wanted to say, it is still not a law that you have to wear a mask. It's a mandate or an ordinance. These things are not law. I want you to really genuinely think about this. How this area of our body affects our health and our well-being and our livelihood and our happiness and our liberty to do whatever we want to do with this. This is my body. This is not your body. You don't get to determine what I do here. Right? You don't. And people that are saying that the government should decide what we should do with this, it's terrifying. And these people have adopted this very virtuous argument against people who don't wear the mask, and they say, well, you don't care about your fellow man because you're not wearing a mask. And they somehow believe this. They somehow can understand that. And I don't know about that, but I want to remind you here again, your body is full of viruses all the time until you die. And then they die. They don't, I mean, germ theory is a lie. Let's understand this. This is what I really wanted to get into today. Because the white coats don't know this. They've been taught their whole life with germ theory. From Pasteur onwards, doctors have been taught that an antigen or a virus or a bacteria, those things that do exist, when they touch you, when they get in you, they can cause you to be sick. This is not how life works. Please check it out if you don't believe me. But all physics and all life works based on the terrain, based on the medium. Okay, I want you to really hear me, because this is one of the most basic questions of civilization, and we need to remember this, how we work. We've taken hundreds of years to understand the human body. And there have been some big lies out there that have kept us from understanding our own nature, our own body, our own mind, etc. One of those being milk does the body good, one of the biggest lies of humanity. The biggest lie right now is germ theory. They're telling you that this little thing can get in you somehow and cause you to die. Oh my God. Really, it just causes you to have a cough. You may have some lung damage. There may be something long-lasting. We don't really know yet. But it's like the flu. Just like every other disease that you hear of that's like this. Bacteria, viral, anything like that. A lot of them, I would say 90% of them, your first symptom are flu-like symptoms, okay? This is your body. This is what your body does, okay? It's not the viruses and the bacteria that you need to be afraid of. We are made to live on Earth. If you believe that, hit the thumbs up, because that's what it's all about. We are made to live on Earth. We are full of viruses and bacteria, so that our body knows how to handle it. Our body can cope with that. Our body knows what's going on with that. Our immune system has been built for thousands of years to cope with bacteria and viruses. We are the king virus. Maybe a Matrix reference in there somewhere, but we are the king virus. They can't really hurt us, okay? Now, there are some that are more virulent than others that are not usually in our body, that can become very dangerous to us if we're not regulated to that environment, such as diseases that exist in Africa. Most Americans could not just go to Africa and drink the water and be fine, because we're not normalized to that terrain, to that earth, that part of that earth that has those different antigens in it, malaria, whatever the case may be. Most Westerners are not normalized to that atmosphere. Now, does malaria kill all Africans? No, it doesn't! Oh my God! Because their terrain is ready to handle that. And you can get into that with Beauchamp and his works on terrain theory. And I'll leave links in the description. These are things that humanity needs to know and figure out and discuss, because they're so important to the agendas that are being put in place now to control our freedoms and our livelihoods and our very air that we breathe, okay? When I was a little girl, it used to be a joke, they tax everything. They're going to tax the air. Well, they are attacking the air that we breathe and saying what we have to breathe through. This is not unlike the government or the EPA saying that you have to have certain filters in your home. Okay, this was something I said. the air needs to be clean, you know, so we have to have certain filtration methods available, whatever. This is not what they're saying, though. They're not saying any of these other agendas that could come out of this with what you can breathe, what you can or cannot be out in public without. Now, it's one thing to say that you have to take something away, to say, well, you can't do this, or you can't say this in public. That's taking something away from what you put out into society. They can't just add to our bodies like that, and it is body sovereignty. If you don't know that, please understand that this is at its core, and they're not going to tell you the core. They're not going to tell you these are the issues that we talk about when we're all together and we're trying to understand how to crash the economy. They're not going to tell you that. But these are the agendas that are being put in place to further other agendas that are coming. Okay, and some of you already know that. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I tried to go live today and I couldn't. YouTube just kept spitting me out. And that's how I felt lately. I lost one of my jobs because I'm one of those people that can't wear a mask. It gives me migraines, it gives me anxiety, it gives me PTSD symptoms. The job that I work in close proximity at a bar. And, you know, my guests are my family. Like, I have been working throughout the pandemic with no mask, doing curbside and to-goes, and then we went to 50% capacity about a month ago where we could open and have people in the restaurant, no masks, wherever mandated during the pandemic, okay? So now that we're 4.5 months in now, 5 months in now, now we're going to say, oh, we have to wear a mask. So adding something to your physical person. And people will say, oh, well, it's like no socks, no shoes. We don't breathe through no shirts, no shoes. We don't breathe through our shirt. We don't walk around like this. Like, is that going to be next? I just put my shirt up over it. Like, this is how I have to walk into the store? Like this? Because my shirt has to be specially made. Is this what no shirts means? Is this what shirts and shoes? Is this how I have to wear my shirt? No, it is not. They can tell you to cover your lady bits because we know that that's distracting. This is not your jurisdiction. All of you people out there, and council members, you know, small, like local municipalities, you don't have control over this part of my body as to what I put over it or have to put over it. You already regulate what comes out of my mouth. I can't have hate speech. I can't have yell fire in a building. I can't defame or slander anyone. There's already laws about what comes out of my mouth. You can't tell me that I can't breathe out something. But, you know, they want to say that they have to regulate the oxygen that comes into my mouth and nose. This is what it is at its core. And if you think that this is about them trying to save lives, let's think about that for a minute. Is that what the government has done historically in our country and in other countries? Have they saved lives? Have they been the good guy who's come in and swept down and just fixed everything and then everything's fine and there's no broken economy anymore and wow, there's no hunger and there's no housing crisis anymore? Like, wow, if they actually cared about you, they could get rid of all those things. They could get rid of hunger. They could get rid of homelessness. They could do all of that with proper legislation and proper funding. And if you understand anything about bureaucracy, you know that proper funding is not going to work with the system the way it is for anything that's actually good. So if you trust your government, don't think about it. I'm sure they have your best interests at heart. They are, in fact, so virtuous. They would never hurt you or your family, or bring you to harm in any way. Do people believe this yet? Like, your government is one of the most tyrannical governments in history. We fought all kinds of wars. I mean, obviously there's been more tyrannical governments than in America. We know that. Like, we don't want to be like North Korea. We don't want to be like China. We are free. We can decide what we want because we have access to information. We have access to education. We have access to millions of articles online and PubMed, peer-reviewed journals to look into this and to say, hey, are these people really trying to save me? And if you believe that they're really trying to save you, then you just go out and get on welfare and go out in the street and be homeless and see what they do for you. Will they make you independent, or will they make you dependent? And what are you dependent on? Is it your peers and your community? Is it your family? Or is it a paycheck? An impersonal dole? Is it services? Let's look into this. Because how are those services, are they doing good? Are they working in the community? These tests and the testing for coronavirus, are they doing good for the community? To know these numbers and these inflated numbers and to have access to them all the time as if they're the Bible, it's almost indigestible because I'm going to get really nerdy. But there is an agenda here, and it involves you, American, especially you, American, because you can stand up, America. Other countries can't. They have a social credit score already, or they have the AI running their country already. They can't stand up anymore. But you still have that chance to say no to your employer, to say no to your teacher or your child's caregiver. No, I don't want you to wear a mask. I'm made of viruses and bacteria. I live on Earth. Get your health together. Take zinc. Take iodine. Decent iodine. Good iodine. Eat seaweed if you don't trust iodine sources, but get your iodine somehow. Put things into your diet that bring you health and vitality, that build your muscles and bones, and to make your terrain impervious to something like a cough. It's a bad flu, okay? Nobody wants to get the bad flu, so make your health better. Eat an orange instead of a hamburger. Eat an orange and a pomegranate and a smoothie and an acai bowl and a bowl of potato fries instead of a steak. Just treat yourself to better health. If you ignore your health, it'll go away, right? So there's another thing I want to get into, and I'm probably going to put this into sections, but please check out the part 2. It's going to be right above. Thanks so much.